welcome back to my channel. So I just realized that I've never done a book trope recommendation video, so I'm gonna be doing one today. I'm gonna be recommending you guys books with the trope enemies to lovers, one of the most popular and well-loved tropes, and that's why I'm gonna be talking about it today. So I hope that you'll find new book recommendations from this video, and let's get started. So I have a bunch of physical books and ebooks, and I'm gonna start with the physical books first. The first book that I'll be recommending is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. This is not only an enemies to lovers book, it's a friends to enemies to friends to lovers book, and this is also a fantasy book, one of the best fantasy books I've ever read in my life. It just has the perfect amount of romance as well as the perfect amount of plot. You know how the romance is the subplot? That's what happened in this book, and I love the couple so much. I can't really spoil much, but the main characters are Tessa Cade, Weston, and Prince Coric. I really love the whole story, and it also has a sense of like a Robin Hood retelling. I feel like the world building is so good, and it's very easy to understand. It doesn't confuse you at all, and I would definitely recommend you guys reading this book. Then the next book that I'll be recommending is a contemporary romance, and it is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. So this book is the third book of the Twisted series. So the main characters are Josh Chen and Jules Ambrose. Jules Ambrose is Josh's sister's best friend. So I don't know if that makes sense. And whenever they meet, they always argue, and they have like the funniest and most fun banters ever. I could not stop laughing with how funny the banters are. Like, it is just so savage sometimes, and I just love a bit of their energy. Jules Ambrose gives off a very like girl boss, I don't need a man type of vibe, you know, and I love her. But it also has some talks about like a very traumatic past that Jules Ambrose went through. And then as for Josh Chen, he's basically described as this like hot doctor. He's a doctor and he doesn't date. I feel like the book's very fast-paced and very engaging. And then the next book that I'll be recommending is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is another fantasy book, and I feel like this is one of the most popular books out there on BookTok and BookTube. Everybody has heard of this book, and I'm so late to the trend. I've just like recently read this book, I think like 2 months ago, because I've always wanted to read this book in a physical copy and I haven't really bought it yet. So I've been like waiting, and I finally got this book. This is a part of the Folk of Air series, if I'm not mistaken, and there are 3 books in total. So this whole series talks about these two people, Prince Carden and Jude. And I just want to highlight the fact that I love Jude so much. She's another one of those like powerful women, and she just does the most badass things ever and the coolest things ever in this book. I love her so much. She stands up for herself. Prince Carden is just like a very arrogant and hateful person. He was mean and rude towards Jude. You can see the buildup of how they started to kind of develop feelings, but at the same time they hated the fact that they actually started to develop feelings. And this is also like a romance subplot. Like, the book doesn't focus on the romance a lot, so that's like the best amount. I really love romance subplots. I don't know if I love imagining Prince Carden because he has a tail. Like, I just can't imagine a guy having a tail, so that's kind of hard for me to imagine, but it's still good, and I can't wait to read the second book. The plot is amazing. I love it so much. Like, the whole story is just like so well done. I love it. And then another enemies to lovers book that I love is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Not exactly enemies to lovers. I don't know. Basically, they kind of hated each other at the beginning, and they would do these like constant banters through email, which is so funny. So the main characters are Nora and Charlie Lastra. The quotes are amazing, and also like the build-up's very good with like the romance, and the fact that both of them actually like loves books makes this book even better. Basically, their job involves books. I don't know what it's called. Oh, this book doesn't only focuses on the romance between them, but it also focuses a lot on the sister dynamic of Libby and Nora. So Libby and Nora are sisters, and basically they went through a lot when they were young, and you can see their relationship in this book as well. You can see like the development and the closeness of their relationship, and I really love that because like a lot of books just really focuses on the romance only, but this book does not do that. But it also like focuses on other aspects of Nora's life, which is her family, and their relationship is just so cute, and they're always like there for each other. It talks about platonic relationships as well as romantical relationships. So good. Oh my god. Okay, then I've been recommending a lot of fantasy books. I'm gonna keep on recommending them. So Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. This is a huge book, and it's a hardcover book. I love this book. This is one of the first books that I read before I really love reading, and this is definitely like one of the books that got me into fantasy, that got me into reading, sort of. So it has the enemies to lovers trope, and I really love it. It has like everything. It has the slow burn, the betrayal, the I trust you but then you backstab me, whatever. So good. The characters are, I don't remember, Syra. I don't know how to spell her name. Kyra, I don't know. I used to spell her name Syra, but I've heard a lot of people spelling her names in other ways, so I don't know. And then the guy is Akaz. I just call him Akaz. I just love the way I say it. So here's the thing, Syra, she basically can't touch anyone because she has this power that whenever she touches someone, they'll die. The energy inside a person will be like brought out to her, will be given to her until the moment she met Akaz. Akaz comes from like another world in this like fantasy world, and basically he was kidnapped when he was young, I think. I read this book like 2 years ago, so I kind of forgot, but he was basically kidnapped. He became a prisoner in Syra's world, and there was this like one coincidence where Akaz was touched by Syra and he was not hurt. He was perfectly fine. So Akaz was made into like Syra's assistant because like Syra could touch him without hurting him, without killing him, but they were like enemies. They don't like each other. Oh, I forgot to tell you that this was also like a duology. The second book is Fate's Divide. I still haven't read it yet. I really need to. This ending is not even like an ending. It's a cliffhanger, and I still haven't read the second book, which is so annoying, but I'm gonna buy it soon. I hope. I really want to read it. I really want to know what's gonna happen. Yeah. And of course, I couldn't do an enemies to lovers video without mentioning the OG enemies to lovers book, Pride and Prejudice. So this book is basically an enemies to lovers book between Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. And basically, there's also the movie. If you haven't watched it, you have to. So good. There's so many amazing quotes here. So Elizabeth Bennet, she's not really like a wealthy person, or she doesn't come from a wealthy family. She's smart though, and she's also like that independent woman type of thing. Whereas Darcy, Mr. Darcy, is like a very arrogant person. And Elizabeth Bennet doesn't like him because he's just like so arrogant, he's just mean, and he's just very grumpy. This book's like a classic book, right? So it's very poetic in a way, and it's just so cool. And if you want to read classics but you're just like afraid you're gonna get bored or you're not gonna like it, I feel like you should start reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, because this book is actually very easy to go through. I feel like as a classic book, I really understand it thoroughly, and I can understand like every single thing that happened here. So yeah, go ahead and read this book and also watch the movie. And this is also like another enemies to lovers book that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, and I really need to share it with you guys. By Your Side by Casey West, an enemies to lovers kind of YA romance. The story, or like the plot's very interesting. So it starts off as these two people being trapped in the library. They can't get out, and so they have to stay there for like a few days. And it's not exactly enemies to lovers. Like, they don't hate each other, but they just don't like each other in a way. Like, you're annoying, and it's just like a mutual thing. But then they started to warm up to each other after like living in that library for like a few days. And I just love the fact that they are actually stuck in the library. Out of all places, they're stuck in the library, and that just made me even more like invested. And I picked this book up the moment that I knew that they are actually both stuck in the library. This book's also very short and very easy to go through. Short chapters as well. I love short chapters. The name of the characters are Dax Miller and Autumn. Dax Miller is a very, I think, a mysterious, close-up, quiet guy. Like, no one really knows him. No one really... Well, actually, no. I remember he has a bad reputation in his past, and a lot of people are like talking about him and like keeping their distances from him because they thought he did something bad, and he just doesn't care either. So he's just a loner. And Autumn is, well, she's not exactly popular. She's just like a normal girl, and you should definitely read it. So I have a few Kindle or ebooks that I've read. The first one is Darling Venom. I read this like, I think I finished this book like 2 days ago. So good. I think the ending could have been better. If the ending was better, I would have rated it like 4.5 out of 5. But the book is about Tate and Charlotte, and I forgot the other guy's name. Talks a lot about many darker topics and subjects, so make sure to check out the trigger warnings before reading the book. It kind of has the enemies to lovers sense, where they just like don't like each other at the start, but then they started to like, they find a common ground and they find something in common to talk about. But the book's very thick. It's like 800 pages long, but I love it, yeah. And then another enemies to lovers book is The Risk by Elle Kennedy. It's about these two people, Brenna and Jake Connolly. Jake Connolly is a hockey player, and he plays for the Harvard team, whereas Brenna is Coach Jensen's daughter, and Coach Jensen coaches for the Briar U campus. So obviously Briar U, or the Briar campus, and the Harvard campus are both like enemies in a way, because like they compete with each other, and that is why Brenna and Jake are first off enemies. I love their banter so much, and it's just so funny. I was screaming and laughing, and I tried like the audiobook version. It is so funny. So I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but The Risk is basically the second book from a series which is called the vllo series, and this series consisted of 4 books. Each book talks about a different hockey player and a different couple. So yeah, Twisted Games, it's the second book of the Twisted series. I talked about the 3rd book previously, but this one's the 2nd book, and it talks about Rice Larson and Bridget von Ashburg. She's a princess, and Rice Larson is her bodyguard, and they started off not liking each other. He was rude. Like, Bridget was trying to be kind. It's also like a Grumpy Sunshine type of situation. Bridget is a very happy and joyful person, so she greeted Rice in a very like welcoming way, but he is the one that just like shuts himself off. But you can see how Rice Larson actually has a soft spot for her, and also like it's a forbidden love, because obviously like a princess with a bodyguard is like not it. Like, princess is supposed to be with a prince. Like, both of them are not allowed to date each other. I think this is like my favorite book from the Twisted series for some reason. I don't know, I just love them. And then the next book is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. The Fine Print is the first book from the Billionaire series. There are 2 books, actually 3 books. A 3rd one is coming out. The first book is talking about Rowan Kane and Zara. Rowan Kane is this guy who owns Dreamland, and Dreamland is basically a company similar to Disneyland. Well, it's basically like a carnival. So he's rich, filthy rich, and Zara is one of the employees, but she was like promoted to be a creator after submitting a drunk proposal. Rowan Kane's just like a very grumpy guy, but you can see that Rowan Kane has a soft spot for her, and you can see the things that Rowan Kane does. I remember obsessing over the things that he does. It's just like so cute. And then I don't know if this is the last book or not. I think it is. The last book that I'll be recommending is A Risk on Forever. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this book. It's kind of like an enemies to lovers, because the guy, I think his name is Matthew or Matthias. Matthew. I'm just gonna say Matthew. He is a grumpy man, and I forgot the girl's name. I think her name is Andrea. I didn't do my research before this video. She was hired as an assistant or as a nurse for Matthias's mother, because Matthias's mother, she has a lot of sickness and she can't do a lot of things. And then Matthias's mother loves Andrea, but Matthias does not like her because she actually came into the job late at first, so that's kind of like a bad impression. But she does her job well, and I don't know, like, it's just so many like complications there. But Matthias like slowly warms up to Andrea, and I remember the book being so good. It's not like something that I'm like entirely obsessed with, but again, it's still so good. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you want to. If you've read any of these books, let me know if you like it or not, because everybody has different opinions. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.